What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Hoffman. This is Blinkers Off. Hey, and he's Ricky. What the hell, dude? What, did you just jump on?
No, I actually was told from a reliable source that I feel like I provided extra enthusiasm over the weekend or on Thursday. So I figured I'd hop on and try to make it 2 in a row, keep the streak rolling.
Well, Halterman texted me. I think it was the day after we got back. He's like, "You should listen to this Travers preview show that we did at the. We all were together." He's like, "It's hysterical," and so I was like, "All right, I'll listen to it." And I shouldn't have texted you that. Now you're gonna. I'm not gonna be able to get rid of you on these fucking shows. So
yeah. Well, we're off to a really flying start. Boy, you two are just, especially Ricky. I tell you what, I think I bring a lot of energy to Blinkers Off. Very good. You're off to a very good start for that. Listen, we got a great show. We got a lot going on. Remington Park's happening. Del Mar's happening. College football opening Thursday. We got games all over the place. I'll try to bring you up here a little bit, Ricky. It's going to be one hell of a show. We've got shit going on everywhere. And by the way, we're going to talk about racing coming up, Saratoga Del Mar open, our closing weekend. So this is going to be fast and furious, even if Ricky doesn't want it to be.
Are you guys gonna hash whatever you guys had going on last weekend, or are you guys that water under the bridge now?
Well, once he admits that watching racing from Remington Park is pointless, then sure, I'll bury the hatchet after that.
Once you admit that you're boring, then we'll bury the hatchet.
I mean, there's so much going on, and we're watching. What is that? 10,000 claimers from Remington Park. I just have no interest.
It's 15. The second race is $15,000 claimers. So we got a lot going on, Ricky. You need to get signed on. You
got to bring the energy on this show, okay?
Yeah. No, I'm ready. I'm sure Nick Sco is quivering in his barn, seeing who's going to win these races tonight.
He might be. No, I need the energy because it's been since I got back. I've basically been sick. So this is the first day that I felt somewhat okay. I got the boys back the next day, and we all have been sick. I've had colds, which might sound like that since. And it's been, well, maybe you two, I'm sure your young buck Ricky there has been sleeping in and relaxing. I have not got a good night's sleep since, it wasn't in Saratoga. So it's been a minute. So tonight I'm going to sleep my ass off. So I needed to bring, high energy Ricky on the show. So I need it, Ricky.
Well, I'm ready to go. Hopefully we get some football scores. Hopefully Remington Park cashes for Aaron. This is going to be exciting. Thursday night, there's no pro football, but we got some college. We got some horse racing. Big weekend across the country in terms of horse racing. So I'm sure we'll dive into that as well. There's a lot to like here on Labor Day weekend, a little preview.
I love that the Magic Mike guys are commenting on their show, and this being a fantastic, exciting show. When I've watched their show once or twice, it's usually what I put the kids to bed with, actually. So that's usually how I handle that. Mark says, Mortal Kombat is the greatest show. Oh, that's a Billy Madison quote. I love it. Mark. Hey, all right. We got a big show. We're obviously going to go in. We're going to dive into the Travers. And obviously, Essential Quality wins that over Midnight Bourbon. We were all three of us were there. So we're going to talk a little about that. We're going to talk over the guide, including all the recap of all the undercard stakes race. The day was amazing. I mean, it was Jockey. But who cares? It was just an amazing day of racing. The stars were there and they showed up. But before we get into any of that, let's start with Ricky, because I'm seeing if he's got a best thing he saw today. Was he prepared?
The best thing I saw today is that my suit for the wedding this weekend fits. I tried it on for the first time in probably since I graduated college, and it fit. I was really happy because it would have been pretty bad. So that was the best thing I saw. It had nothing to do with me. There wasn't a lot going on, to be honest. I could have went with floods in New Jersey. Jared, you were the only one to ask me if I was okay, so I appreciate it. Literally the only person to ask me if I was okay.
I've been sleep deprived. I probably didn't know who I was texting, honestly. So
well, I'll take it as a compliment anyway. But yeah, the fact that the suit fit is the best thing I saw, because I would have been in trouble. had that suit not fit. I don't know what I would have done. And
when does the girl get in?
Tomorrow afternoon, right around 12:45. So that suit better have fit. Otherwise, I was gonna have to open that wallet just like I did at Sperry's, and I would have had to make a big time purchase again for 2 weekends in a row.
Big day tomorrow. This is a big day.
Yeah, big day. I think for the whole brand, for the whole Racing Dudes brand. Like, what happens? Do I mess it up? Is it a bad look PR wise? There'll be plenty of texts and phone calls exchanged, so you guys will be kept up to date hour by hour on how it's going.
Halterman, is he going to close the deal? Listen, best thing I saw today is Ricky's here. Ricky's here. That's the best thing I saw today. I got to spend some time with him earlier, and it was lovely as always. And he's here now, and it's even better now. I mean, he's even better at night, folks. And maybe we should think about that, and maybe let his woman know tomorrow that he may or may not be with, that he's even better at night. Remember that, ladies.
Oh,
it's fair. You guys, all three, are you two doing the jockey? Which, by the way, I'm guessing Ricky won. Mm-hmm. You guys did the jockey standings or whatever. Well, you guys should do some sort of weekend bet with different. Obviously the big one. Does Ricky get laid? That's a big one. But did the suit fit? That could have been part of one. Or does she show up and say, "Uh-oh"? Can we get someone to follow along with Ricky to kind of give us, because I don't trust Ricky's going to give us, exactly what's happening. Like, she's going to be loving him no matter what.
Well, like Halterman, like Samich says, I could live stream it. I could throw a GoPro on when I pick her up, get an initial reaction.
You are the gift that keeps on giving, Ricky. I swear to God.
I can make this real fun over the weekend. Now, I need some inspiration potentially, but we can get some live reaction from the wedding. Maybe I'll just FaceTime everyone from the wedding. We'll see. I can get a lot of positive reactions, a lot of real live updates. So I'll think about it and see what I come.
I'd like to lock in my bet, though. If you are going to show up wearing a GoPro and the suit at the airport, I would lock in that you're getting laid is like 50-1. Like, I think the odds go way up if that's what you're going to do.
It wouldn't be with the suit on. It would just be me wearing a GoPro around like the top of my head or my chest and whatever clothes I was driving. I wouldn't be wearing the suit. That's pointless.
This is why we had Ricky on.
Over under on number of times Ricky tells his date real quick. Samich has set the line. The Samich Casino set the line at 14.5.
Well, we know the end of the night he'll be saying real quick a lot of times. You know what I
mean? Yeah, I don't even know if I'll have the chance to utter the word.
Real quick. There's 14 right there. 14 is, once the doors close. Yeah, give me the over. Lock in the over on that one, please. Hey, listen, I got a good one for you guys. We'll change the subject a little bit. But love is the best thing I saw today, because I'm telling you, it's starting. Cohen and Ella, it's starting. They've been exchanging videos back and forth today, and they are buddies.
For the record, and I'm going to ask this now on September 2nd, 2021. I don't know what the word is, or you said Ryan Stillman got ordained for your wedding.
Oh, no, I can't allow this. No.
I want to be ordained.
No.
Ever to exist.
No.
I could hold Oliver, or Oliver and I can walk out and
we already have a Jewish priest. It's Ryan. We don't need another.
Ryan already used his superpowers for one wedding.
That's true. No, you're gonna be holding Oliver. We know what you'll be doing. You'll have to hold Oliver the whole time. Yeah, listen.
Not holding him in like 20 years. I would hope.
No, they're getting married soon. No, listen. I asked Cohen, or Cohen was talking about. I give him a hard time about girlfriends and if he's had a girlfriend. And I said, "What about Ella?" And he's like, "Who's Ella?" And I was like, "Remember the girl?" And I showed him a picture that I showed in the video, and he's like, "Maybe." And I sent a video to her mom, or to Kate, is Slim's wife, and I was like, of Cohen, saying that Ella might be. And I got one back, and Ella was like of her watching the video, and she was smiling. And I mean, I'm just saying. I talked to her. Slim and I have been talking. We're working out the logistics of it all. I'm just saying we might have a little racing dudes. This might be how it all started. Like it wasn't that we met Slim; it was that our kids were able to meet.
Well, it's like a racing dudes and racing dudettes, right? So I don't know. Yeah, someone just said 7-0 Ohio State. Yeah, we're off to a good start. Yeah, that's actually really good to know. It just gives me like a mental picture of where we are on this timeline, so I know when I have to go get ordained and things like that. So I'm happy you gave me that update. So I mentally you couldn't find anyone better than me to do it, by the way. Just throwing that.
He could screw up a wet dream, couldn't he, Jared? Anything fun, he just sucks the life right out of it. Like an orange. Squeeze that thing as hard as he can, and there's nothing left.
Okay, well, on that note, let's get to today's show. I love it. You two. Maybe we should put you two next to each other and me. Here, do this.
Can we do that? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. There you go. On today's show, we're going to recap the $1.25 million Runhappy Travers Stakes, as well as look at how the betting and wagering guide worked out this weekend on the Travers Stakes wagering guide. Then we're going to get rapid fire selections for the remaining stakes action this weekend at Del Mar and Saratoga, of course, including the Jockey Club Gold Cup, a Breeders' Cup Winning Your In Challenge Series event for the Longines Classic. Let's go! I love it. You guys picked up right where we left off last week.
Did you get a haircut?
Me?
No, we know you don't believe in haircuts. Jared, did you get a haircut?
No, I mean, same as last week.
Oh, no. I was going to say, it looks like a new and improved look.
What he has on there is a hat, Ricky.
Yeah, I know it's called a hat. You know what? No one's wearing
shit.
A racing dude's golf.
It's called a hat. Oh man, you guys.
I love it. I don't have to say much. I just drop in the insults every once in a while and go back to watching my stuff. So it's great.
I like it because I can just basically tee it up, and you guys can just do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, those Remington Park races won't watch themselves, huh? God forbid they have 0 viewers.
All right, let's get this show on the road. I've got a lot of zingers left in me. So,
also this, I couldn't decide. I thought you guys were being. This has to be mentioned. Well, you know what? I'll save it for the end because this needs to be on the live show, or it needs to be on the actual show. It's too good not to mention. Okay. But I had to mention. You guys had to bring it to something nice. You guys are being dicks to each other.
I think every person in this neighborhood has mowed their yard today during these shows. Anyway,
there's nothing else to do in your town.
Now we're on to that insult.
You might as well just mow the lawn, do some self-care, because
he's got 2 insults and they just come out round and round and round.
Yeah, well, there's nothing to do in that state. You know what? I don't think I've seen this guide since last week, so I'm happy we're bringing it up again.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do you want to just go in order, or do you want to talk about the Travers first and then talk about the guide? How would you like to go about it?
Let's just go in order. That way we can do the order and talk about the wagers in order of how they were coming in.
Yeah, this isn't my show, so I'll do it as I'm told.
Man, Magic really sucking up. I mean, once a week maybe they don't get bored, but I mean, I don't know about
week. I say once a month.
Rick, come on.
I don't know. You're giving him once a week? I'll give him a couple times, 3 times a month. Couple to a few. I'm not going to go once a week. That would be 4, maybe 5 in a good month.
Yeah, 3 is probably a good month. 3 to 5.
Somewhere between a couple and a few. Not going once a week. No way.
What's the over under on that? Well, it's not much left. Never mind. What's Halterman? Maybe Halterman. What's the over under on that? Give us that.
I'm not setting that line because I know the answer, so I'm not going to set it. That wouldn't be fair.
Samich is
or could it be that because Heather's in the room with you?
No, she just left.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think when Samich goes to like little kid soccer games, he's setting over unders and spreads in his own head? Like I think, they're going to score over under is at 4.5 goals soccer games. Like, do you think he's like taking his own lines? I could only imagine.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I would also. That's why I asked, for public viewing.
All right.
Okay.
Magic must be bored. Magic.
If you're watching this, you are bored. So.
No shit. I'm surprised we're not down to 0 people listening to this thing. Yeah. All right. Well, 3, 2, 1. Last Saturday, the dudes were live at Saratoga for, of course, the Travers Stakes. It was a massive day. No matter how you look at it, undercard, the Travers, of course, was an amazing effort there by Central Quality. The day was just loaded with star performances and stars and star performances. We saw them really in every race, and we're going to go through. If you followed us, if you bought the Travers Stakes wagering guide, of course, we do these for all the big racing events over the year. Of course, the Breeders' Cup is kind of the big pinnacle one of the end of the year. You'll want to make sure you get your hands on that. We do a live bankroll on the big ones. Halter and I team up, and we do we lay out exactly how we're going to make every single bet. A lot of people buy the guides and they say, well, there's a bunch of options. Well, this is telling you, hey, we're betting it with you, and this is exactly what we're doing. And we're going to run through it. Kind of what it's always good for him and I both, I think. We do it obviously on the airplane when we're flying somewhere on the way back. It's all we talk about for like 3 days about what we messed up and why what we should have done better, what we did great. And I think that's good for any handicapper. So we're going to go through all 7 stakes races as a little bit of a recap, what we saw, what we liked, and then in general, how we played the race, how we could have done it better. It was a chalky day, no matter how you look at it. It was tough to make money. We knew going into it, you've got to press your opinions. That's at least how we were going to play it. That's how it worked out. So let's go through some of these. Let's kick things off with race 4, the Boston Spa Stakes. And we kicked things off with we did a $50 win on number 3, Videra. We'll call it that. And dude, we snuck that one out, but we got in. It was one of the few times I feel like in the guide where you and I had an opinion, a win opinion. We played it early on the card and we got it right. We got in the green and we never looked back.
Yeah, it's a good way to kick it off. This was certainly a day where you have to be versatile in your wagers. This is not a day where you're going to play a pick 3 for $1 base and play 40 combinations. You're going to get killed if you were going to do that. We even had some pick 3s that we'll talk about a little bit later originally for $5 that would have hit and would have made like $6. So you'll see later on, we played pick 3s for $20 and $30 just because we knew this was going to be extremely chalky. We kicked it off here, and a lot of people would say, well, a win wager on a 4 to 5 shot, big deal. Well, it's a win, and that's the thing. You have to build your bankroll here. This looked like a surefire winner to us. Now, listen, obviously this was not a surefire winner. She had to work the entire length of the stretch to get it done.
Yeah.
But at a card like this, you're better off playing the chalk and get creative with how you bet them rather than trying to pick long shots or trying to even pick mid prices because they just weren't as good as these horses that were the short prices. So, yeah, nice $50 win wager to start it off. We got a little bit lucky here. This was really one of the only bets we had to sweat the whole time. Most of them were pretty much in the bag. This one had to sweat it out, but, yeah, good way to start and build up the start of the bankroll here.
Well, I think we saw it firsthand, too, and I don't want to name names. He's not on this feed, so you're all safe. But we saw it firsthand whenever how we played it throughout the day, like you just laid out, and then the other side was trying to get creative, trying to play long shots, trying to play tries that have prices underneath. And one of us had a good outcome, the other one didn't. And that's the kind of day it was. If you're not a chalk player and you refuse to play chalk, Saturday wasn't your day. It just wasn't. And I think as a good handicapper, you have to be able to pivot and understand this is what the card looks like. Basically, you can only bet what you think's going to happen. People say, "Why are you betting that?" Well, because I think it's going to win. Like, what do you mean? That's why. That's why I bet it. Vidaria finish or play or win was 360 for the win. So it wasn't like we bet 50 to win. We got like 40 back, made 40 there. So, it was like you said, it was kind of one of those efforts where you kind of thought she was going to win the whole way, but she had to work for it the whole way too. Ricky, what's your thoughts? Well, you let Ricky kind of touch because, we're doing the handicapping as far as the guide went, how we kind of saw the race. Ricky, you kind of touch on like just the race in general, what you thought.
Before I do, at the top of the page, it says Aaron Halterman and Jared Welsh. Who decided who goes first and who goes second? I think that's my first question.
Well, alphabetically, his name is A and mine is a J. So that's how.
No, yeah. I think when we talk about this race, I actually thought she was going to lose. You gave another 50 yards or so, and she probably would have lost. To your point, it's kind of like you just play the chalk if you think that's the way it's going to pan out. You almost got even money, 360. So it kind of is what it is. You still made like $40 on it, so there's nothing wrong with that. You have to get creative in these sort of situations. If you got to play straight exactas, like playing, or you have to single in these multi-race sequences. If you singled, and we'll get to the rest of it, I guess. But if you singled, then it made sense. But taking multiple shots in these races it ended up costing you money. So there's really not much to add other than she barely held on. It was an exciting race, one of the more exciting ones on the card for sure.
Yeah, I kicked things off on the stakes section. We had a couple of races in between. Then we jumped to race 7, which was the Ballerina Stakes. And, of course, Gamine was the heavy favorite here for Bob Baffert. Brought her in, one of the few that he brought in. But Gamine came into the Ballerina. Obviously, it was extremely tough. She had to go up against – she loves the track. She liked the distance. It was really hard to go against her here. You and I – we thought, okay, we did this with her earlier in the year at Churchill Downs. So how do we use her? But obviously you can't bet her to win because she's going to be pounded, and she was. So we decided we'd play a $20 pick 3 with singling her, and we played a few in the next couple of legs. But first I'll let you kind of talk about the race and what we did.
Yeah, this is one of them where we originally had a pick 3 for $5, and it actually, I think, would have lost money if we would have kept it like that. And we just decided you got to play more than 5 even. You got to pound the hell out of these sequences. $20 pick 3 here with Gamine, and this one was never really in doubt. And then I guess we'll go over the next 2 legs. I won't get into those too detailed, but this is a situation here where, okay, Gamine's going to be 2 to 5 at best. You cannot play this horse to win. The other situation is, okay, do you try to play an exacta here? And we got to thinking, and it's like anybody can finish second in this race. We don't have a strong opinion. The strongest opinion comes in the next 2 races. We think we can get this pick 3 home. That's where we thought we could get the value. This wager does cash. And like I say, we'll talk about how it cashed and what happened in the 9th, but it was an $80 wager and you got back $178. That's actually what we wanted. We wanted to get value on Gamine, or not value, I guess maybe not the right word, but just get a little more bang for your buck. We didn't want to bet $100 and get $20 or $30 back. So we bet 80 and we got 178 back. This one worked out. We did another one a little bit later. We'll talk about that didn't. But this was never in doubt here in this race, and she just kind of cruised around there, and we got on to the next leg.
Yeah, she was a beast. And this was one of those that, like you say, we spent $80 total on the ticket. And you and I both said before, because the way we do it is you kind of throw out your ideas, I throw out my ideas, and we start to kind of blend it together. We were still working on this on the airplane on the way between Springfield and Albany. We were on our flights. We were working through the details, and okay, let's describe. Let's just say the guide was different when we took off Springfield when we landed. We kind of completely just went through. We were this one was an interesting guide because we knew it was going to be chalky, and how do we maximize to our best potential in terms of what we think this is going to pay. It was more like, okay, what do you think these are going to pay? That was more what it was about, because we kind of felt strongly, yeah, I think Gamine's going to win. Yeah, I think it's either Jackie or Life is Good. Yeah, I think, yeah, you know what I mean? So we tried to get creative as best we could, but it was more about, what do you think this is going to pay? Because we're going to have to amp up the price here. in terms of, let me quickly ask you, what in terms of someone like saying, okay, well, would you ever play this? Like, we're doing this for the guide. We are playing it. We bet it with our own money. But if we weren't doing a guide, would you ever suggest playing a pound, a pick three like this? I mean, because to me, I love playing this like this because it's free money. And honestly, Life is Good should have won, and we would have got paid even more.
Look, the bottom line is you play what you can with the horses that you have that makes the most sense. So yes, absolutely yes. If the situation calls for a straight pick three for $20 or a straight pick three for $30 or a pick three for $20 where you play 1, 2, 2, yeah, you absolutely do it. There's a lot of people that think it's in a box, right? And it's like you have to do this every single time with all your wagers. No. Maybe your handicapping principles need to stay consistent, but your wagers have to be based on the value that you project the horses are going to pay out. So, yeah, absolutely. And to your point, it probably took us 20 minutes to handicap these stakes races, all of them. They were super easy. And it took us a day to put together the wagering formulas or the wagering plan. We looked up, okay, what happens if it's a 3 to 5 and an even money and a 3 to 5? What is that pick three going to pay? We looked back years prior to similar situations, trying to calculate, okay, this is the projected payout we're going to get for this pick three. Here's the dollar amount we need to play it for. Here's the combinations we can play it for to make this make sense. That's the thing. You have to be flexible with what your wagering plan is based on the horses you've selected. That's the big key to this.
Yeah, you said it exactly right. Yeah, that's what all goes back to. There's such a wide margin of difference between handicapping and betting. You could handicap these races perfectly and lost a lot of money on Saturday. And thankfully, we did it at least good enough. Ricky, what did you think of Gamine and that performance in the ballerina?
I thought she was solid. I don't think it was obviously one of her better ones. I thought it was one of her better ones is fantastic. I don't know how much we can take away from this because if Lake Avenue runs second, and I don't think anyone on here at least thought Lake Avenue can really run. I mean, some of these other horses, Aaron and I talked about it. How good is Sconson? Maybe not as good as we thought coming into this one. Estilo Talentoso, she didn't really run well. There was one horse who ran well. That's not named Gamine, and I thought it was Lake Avenue. She was the highest price on one of the higher prices on the board. So I don't think there was much here. Gamine just continues to roll. She's not as good as she was last year, but she still wins races and still does it with relative ease. With that being said, I'll be interested to see what happens if she does get tested, but who knows if that's going to happen anytime soon. It doesn't seem like she's going to be. Maybe in a Breeders' Cup race, we'll find out. But I thought it was solid. I'll give her like a B+ for her standards, B+, A-, nothing more, nothing less.
No, I think the problem with her is things like she's doing it pretty much. She just easily does it. She's not going to I agree, she's not as good as she was, but she's also really fucking good still. And you have to eyeball her. The only way you beat her is eyeball her, and I don't know how you eyeball her. Just seems like she's just better than the rest. And she just is fast. She won't wow you away by like how she was winning those the test. Didn't she win the test by like 10 links or something? It's like she's not going to do that anymore. But she's just good. It feels like she's just like Holtzman. I think you made a good the other day. I think it was the other day. It was like she's like, okay, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna get out in front of everybody. Okay, they're getting a little closer. Okay, I'll go a little faster. And it's just kind of like she just kind of keeps them at bay. Like we've seen this with her the last several times where you're like, it kind of looks close, but at the same time, you're like, it's not really.
Yeah. Yeah. She just, just get ahead. Here comes another one. I'll just pull away. I don't know if she's just kind of maybe a step below where she was, or she's just kind of a little smarter and knows she doesn't need to just kick clear of all of them and kill them. I don't know which one it is, but yeah, this was never really in doubt.
All right, let's go to the next one, the Forgo. So we saw this one. This one we'll be talking about a while. So the Forgo, we get through Gamine. Okay, now As far as our pick 3 goes, we have Doubly Blessed and Yapon in our 2. Those are 2 horses. I liked Yapon on top. You like Doubly Blessed. I had Doubly Blessed second. We both liked that horse. It had provided value. The horse did go off at almost 15-1. So, like, all right, we got the favorite. We got value. We didn't expect to see what we saw. Thankfully for Feren's Fire, this ticket would not have cashed because Feren's Fire goes up next to Yapon there in the stretch. And as it says in the comments, savaged by foe is what Yapon was. Feren's Fire just bit the hell out of Yapon. After he got in the lead, he put a nose ahead in front of Yapon. He was going to go right by him. Bit the hell out of the horse for like what felt like 5 minutes. Yapon gets back to the lead after Jose finally gets Feren's Fire off of him. He re-rallies and still almost wins the damn thing. It was the craziest shit you'll ever see at a racetrack, let alone a grade 1 race. You can probably never see something like that in the stretch of a grade 1 race ever again. Yapon comes out the winner. It was kind of a weird race too because you had Whitmore, who obviously didn't run his race. He's retired. He got banned. Doubly Blessed. I think he kind of broke down. Something happened to him. So none of the closers really did anything. So you had this kind of stretch run where Feren's Fire, Yapon kind of ran away there. It was crazy shit, man.
Yeah, this was crazy. And this is where luck comes in horse racing a lot, right? Because if Feren's Fire just keeps running, we lose this bet. But it says he tries to do what he did and the Yapon wins the race and we stay alive. This was the race where we tried to, quote unquote, get cute, try to play a little bit of money on a long shot, and it didn't go well, It didn't go well at all. So that was a miss with the win bet. But you advance because of the craziest thing you'll ever see in this sport, probably. I mean, who knows? We see crazy shit every day, but this one really takes the cake. Yapon runs really hard, and we get through this leg, not with the horse we wanted, but we still get through to the Allen Jerkins. And at this point, when Yapon wins, we pretty much know that bet is cash. We think there's a 99% chance we're going to cash that pick 3. So it was a good feeling. It was not a good feeling to see Doubly Blessed range up like he was getting ready to make a move and go backwards. That was not a good feeling at all. But took a shot there in a race we really didn't have a strong opinion on and got beat.
Yeah, we also, we had a 20 to win on Doubly Blessed as well because obviously it was top pick in the guide, as well as I had the horse second. So we got to put money on the horse at that price. Makes the day if the horse wins. And yeah, you're right. And I think I even said, of course, we're at the track. We don't know. It's hard to tell anyways. I said something to you after the race, like, man, it looked like he was ranging up. And then it's like he was running weird. Like, I don't know. Then it's like, well, he broke down or I don't know. I think he survived. I haven't heard otherwise, but I don't know if he ever went down. But the point is, he never, obviously something happened. So that was unfortunate for sure. But yeah, we survived. And like you said, you knew from there, it's like, okay, let's look at the wheel pace because it's either going to be Jockey or it's going to be Life is Good. We'll get into what we wanted or what we thought, but of that, as far as that race went, the Jerkins. But sorry, I'm thinking about the Jerkin. The Jerkins. Ricky, what do you think of that performance there?
Yeah, I was on the record saying I thought the equipment got tangled, which clearly was wrong after the fact because I had seen that in harness racing before, so that's where my initial thoughts were. That wasn't the case. I've never seen anything like that. It's probably the most exciting thing that I saw though on Saturday because I don't think I'll ever see that again. Definitely not in a grade 1 race. I could promise you that, let alone just another stakes race. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be on site to watch it either. It might happen on NBC, a replay or a video, but in terms of the race, yeah, the Yapon would have lost, I'm pretty sure. And then you have the argument that no one really thinks about. Does Feren's Fire get taken down if he wins? I believe that he would have. No one's really bringing that up, but what are the rules for that? I don't know what the official wording for interference is. That's clearly a definition of interference. Now, again, I don't know what the legitimate wording is, but if someone's trying to bite you or savage you, whatever term you want to use, that is clearly interfering with Yapon's ability to win the race. So I don't think Feren's Fire would have held up anyway. To be quite honest, I think if you had Yapon, you were a winner, even if he crossed the finish line, or crossed the wire second, because they couldn't have left that horse up. There's no way. So I think looking back at it, Yalpan would have been the winner regardless. So
yeah, that was something that Halter and I talked about traveling home. I was like, man, what would have happened if he would have won? And then you have like, I'm with you, but an inquiry on not the jockey. No, jockey didn't do anything wrong. Literally the horse biting another horse, and I don't know where that is in the rule. We need to ask John Halterman about what that would like. What that I guess interference is interference. But it makes it even more interesting, even though it would be impossible to know. But like Yalpan looked unfazed by all of it. Like he just kept running. So you could argue, like, yeah, he didn't bother him, but obviously you can't bite another horse. But it would have been interesting if Foreign Fire wins, and then you have an inquiry over the horse getting bit. Like that would be a first time. We'll ask John White about that and get, because I'm sure he's got an answer.
I'm testing him right now, so we'll get the answer before the show's over, I'm sure.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it was just and really from there on, because obviously Gamine, that was exciting. We had the stakes early in the action, but from this point on, and you can kind of feel it. Like this got everyone was chattering. No one could believe this had happened. They were talking about it. And then from this point on, the day just was nuts. And of course, that will get us right into the race 9 H. Allen Jerkin Stakes. The Halterman, he was so happy he was jerking it on this race because this race lived up to the billing. Life is Good versus Jackie's Warrior. I mean, it's still like I've gone back and watched this race 10 times, and it's still amazing the fact that this race went down like it did. Life is Good. Mike Smith goes out, blazes. That's sub 22, almost 44 flat, just absolutely flying. It looks like you're like, dude, this like, what's he doing? But this horse might just like roll, like might just throw all these horses into the ground because no one can keep up. And Jackie's Warrior, Joel Rosario, sits off, does his thing, comes running late. It was a great effort. Unbelievable. Too good of an effort for Life is Good to get beat by, but unfortunately he faced against the best horse in the best sprinter in the country, and that's Jackie's Warrior. Jackie's Warrior is just a true beast. Wins this race. These two they were 9 lengths ahead of everybody else down the stretch. Jackie's Warrior, Life is Good. Halterman, it was a great performance, and we knew from the top of the stretch we were cashing this ticket.
Yeah, from a betting standpoint, it was great. So the only problem was Jackie's Warrior paid $178 for the payout of the pick 3 that we started back with Gamine, and Life is Good paid $238. And so it was certainly oh man, Life is Good would be great. And also we played another pick 3 starting here, $30 straight pick 3. And the reason why we did that is we knew this was going to be a chalky 3 here, and we had Life is Good as our horse in the 9th race. So even though Jackie's Warrior won, and that was great, and it was a reason to give each other a high five because that was a big pick 3 cash, it was kind of a heartbreaker that Life is Good lost this race, and really probably shouldn't have lost it, in my opinion. I think he was the best horse, even though Jackie's Warrior was tremendous. Another thing I got to bring up, and this is the heartbreak of the whole guide that none of the public knows until right now. So here's how we put together this pick 3. Jared and I had the same horse on top, Latruska, in the 10th race. So that one was easy, but we had different horses on top in the 9th and in the 11th. You couldn't play 2-1-2 here. It was just going to be too chalky, and then the ticket was going to get too expensive. So I said, here's what we got to do. I like Jackie's Warrior. You like Life is Good in the 9th. And then I like Tribuvon and you like Gaffoe in the 11th. I said, one of us gets a top pick in the 9th. One of us gets a top pick in the 11th. We had it wrote down for a good while. Jackie's Warrior, Latruska, Gaffoe. And finally, Jared was like, I don't want to leave off Life is Good. I want that one. I said, okay, that's fine. I like Tribuvon. And so we switched it to the Life is Good, Latruska, Tribuvon. If we would have kept it, and this is not I said Jared wanted to switch it. That's not to blame him because I think he had the right pick. I think we got very lucky that Jackie's Warrior won that race, or I got lucky, I should say. But it just shows you we made that little change and it cost us about $450, I think. So that was the one heartbreak on the guide looking back after this was over. But listen, it's just one of those things. I again, looking back on it, yeah, Life is Good probably should have won that race, and we should have went into the 11th with a chance.
Yeah, it would have been even more, like, even though it would have been nice to get Life is Good for the higher payout in that first pick 3, it would have been even more devastating to get to the final leg and have Gafo win, and not hit that, and know that we were that close to having it when we had Tribute Van. So yeah, it was tough because, like you say, it was like we just never would have got there. It's easy to say that now, but
yeah.
I don't, even after watching the result, you're like, I still wouldn't have wanted to leave Life is Good off my ticket. Like, because he just ran so freaking good. And so, yeah, it was tough. And that was the one. And I think that's a great example of, we paid a $30. It's probably one of the only times that you're going to play a ticket that kind of base on a pick 3. We played a $30 pick 3, single. And it really wasn't that hard to get to at all. In fact, if I get lucky enough to get Life is Good home in that leg, that's my 3 top picks. You know what I mean? So it's like, it wasn't like it was that hard. And that's how you make money. That's how you make $500 on a $30 wager with Life is Good, Latruska, and say Gafo, who all 3 were basically favorites. So that's how you do it. It can be done. You just have to press your opinion. So even though we didn't cash that, we got that first pick 3 home. That pretty much verified, or at least secured, a profit in the guide. That secured that. I felt good about it. We knew we were out of this pick 3 from the start because we didn't have Life is Good. Before we get into the rest of that race, Ricky, this race just lived up to the billing. The billing was going into it that it's going to be an epic showdown. It lived up to it. What do you do with these horses moving forward? And just what do you think of the performance?
Yeah, I ultimately, I think Jockey's Warriors a step behind Life is Good when they're both in form. But I just thought that this is the time where Jockey's Warriors in the best form of his life. I don't know if Life is Good off the bench is ready to compete at this level. So, I hate to hark back on it, but the Gafo thing, I would have been on the Jockey's Warrior Gafo side, because I know what I'm getting with Jockey's Warrior. I'm getting a 99. Life is Good has to run 100 to beat him, and he ran a 97, 98, and he lost. It wasn't a bad effort, but you knew he had to come with his best. He wasn't facing Drain the Clock and some other C-, C+ runners. He faced arguably the best sprinter in the land. And he, again, down the road, a couple months from now, probably a different story, but off that bench, it's a pretty stiff test. So it's unfortunate you guys couldn't cash that because it would have been a lot of money. I think Life is Good is probably better than Jockey's Warrior, again, when they're both at their peak fitness, but one wasn't, one was, and that was probably the difference. There's one thing you guys didn't mention, and that was the Mike Smith aspect of this thing. Again, we're not showing TrackMan comments here, which is fine. I personally don't think Mike Smith did all that much wrong. I know I'm probably in the minority. Jared, I'm kind of interested to see what you thought in terms of, he really hand-rode the horse. I don't disagree there. He hand-rode the horse, never really whipped or used a crop or whatever term you want to use. I know Aaron's been on the record because he said it, I think Tuesday, that he thought Mike Smith was the reason that the horse lost. And I don't entirely disagree. I just think Jockey's Warrior was a little bit better after watching the replay, or maybe your initial thoughts. Did you think Mike Smith ultimately cost his horse the race, or Jockey's Warrior was going to win either way?
It's tough. It's tough to say because who knows? Because like with Mike saying, because there's quotes after the race, Mike Smith saying, "Well, he's a quirky horse," and that would kind of you kind of verify that by the fact that Pletcher decided to keep him aboard. That if you ask him to do too many things throughout the race, like he'll fight you and he'll go. He acts like he'll go off even faster if you try to pull him up a little bit. So I understand that he may have been limited to what he could have done. My problem with his effort was the stretch, basically. I like a horse, and I love a horse actually when they go out and just fly. It's like, just do your thing, man. But when they got to the stretch and Mike was still confidently riding the horse, and he opened up the rail, Jackie Warrior goes zipped on by. He didn't really feel like he started going after him until late, like till it was almost too late. And then by that time, Jackie was in front and he rallied back. I would have liked to have seen Mike just ride the hell out of him the entire stretch. Even and like if he does fight him and he goes out or whatever, at least he tried, because it seems like the race was over once Jackie got, like, I think I did anyways. Once Jackie kind of got his nose in front, like, well, he's winning this race. So I was impressed that Life is Good fought it and fought back. But I kind of feel like, I don't know, like I was surprised to see, like, I think you mentioned it. I think it says the exact wording is overconfident handling is comments for Life is Good there. So that was interesting to see, because we asked John about that and he's like, yeah, it's a pretty bold move to say that.
Well, speaking of John, I do have the answer of would Firenze Fire been DQ'd if he would have won that race. John says, almost certainly. I say almost because I see enough questionable decisions by the stewards, including most definitely the stewards in New York, throughout the year that I can't say definitely he would have been disqualified. But as I say, he almost certainly would have been taken down in this situation. So yes, he probably would have been taken down, according to John White, who has been a steward for many, many, many years. So, yeah, interesting comment from him. As always, we thank John because we asked him about the chart thing on Tuesday, Ricky, and he gave us a good answer as well. So, last thing before we move on, guys, we missed this bet, but this is exactly what I'm talking about when we open this segment up about creating value with short prices. And you said it best, a $30 pick three. You're probably going to play $30 in a regular pick three when you play combinations, right? No combination, straight $30 pick three would have paid over $400. And you had the favorite, and the favorite. That's what we're talking about. If you like three favorites in a row, you got a shot to make some money if you play it like that. So you just have to get creative with your bets.
Yeah, so don't give me that, people, you can't make money with chalk days. Yeah, you can make money. You just got to have the ball. You got to have the balls to press your opinion.
Yep.
I do think, I don't know, he ran a huge, Life. What do you do with Life? Because Life is Good ran a 106 buyer for that effort. 107 was by Jackie, who, by the way, ran a career high race at, Haltman, we said, if he can run that race like he did last time, he's not going to get beat. Well, hell, he increased his buyer by 5 points. Yep. I mean, he ran huge. We ran a 102 that day and should have got beat. Now, mind you, Life is Good ran a 107 in the San Felipe, but shit, that was, months ago. That was back in March. So here he comes back off the layoff, runs basically to that effort that he ran back in March. What are you doing with Life is Good from here? We know what Jackie is. Jackie's a one-turn monster. Keep him doing that. He's a best sprinter as long as he stays healthy. He should be a favorite for the sprint. What are you doing with Life is Good from here? Because obviously the options are limited. Probably have one more race under your, open to you before the Breeders' Cup. Classic, dirt mile, sprint. Where are you going?
Dirt mile for me. I take him to the dirt mile. I take the conservative approach here. I do think they'll stretch him out next time out for the last prep for the Breeders' Cup. So I guess you're going to have to base it on that. But if I had to bet, I would say dirt miles where he ends up.
Is he the most talented horse in the race?
In the dirt mile?
No, in the race we saw in this race. I'm just saying between him and Jackie. Yeah.
He is, and I think the world of Jackie's Warrior, and I think he's going to win the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I think Life is Good's more talented.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, there you go. Magic says Life is Good got a 135 time form, and Jackie's Warrior got a 132, because obviously it factors a lot more into the speed and the way that race stood up, and obviously he ran huge early. And that was the fear. That's why I kept going to him, picking him. That's why I couldn't let that go, because I was like, he just might be a freak, and he might just freak in this race, and he did, and he still got beat. It was just kind of a crazy effort. All right, let's get to another maybe freak, and that's in the personal instant, the race 10. Latruska, who's done pretty much nothing wrong all year long, and she continues to back that up. This horse, we did 50 to win on her. We were like, hey, you know what? I wish we would have 100. We had 100 at one point. But like, hey, I don't think she's going to lose. But she did kind of feel like the horse that of the favorites if we left the day saying, man, I can't believe got beat, it kind of felt like her. Everyone was kind of saying that. Ultimately, she got tested, and there was really no test. She went to the front. She blazed. Went 23. We talk about how slow the Travers was. We'll talk about that in a little bit. She was not slow early on in this race, and she just kept going. She's turned into an absolute freak.
Yeah, I mean, this was awesome. I mean, just go fast and keep on going. I mean, I thought she was going to have a lot of trouble holding on here, and she just kept on going. They just couldn't pass her. I mean, really impressive performance. Honestly, I mean, it was a nice bet for us. We hit it. That definitely kind of eased the sting of losing race 9 on that next pick 3. But it certainly felt like, oh boy, we're in some trouble here for a lot of this race. She just kept going. I love it. I love Latruska. This horse has just turned into a monster, and some stressful moments, but got the job done.
Yeah, you kind of thought, oh my gosh, she's going too fast. She's flying. Yeah. This horse, you look at how this race just completely melted down. You look at Bonnie South, who came from the clouds. Royal Flag came from the clouds. Dunbar Road came from the clouds. Swiss Skydiver, who was semi-close to this early on, she folded. Obviously, Miss Marissa, she folded. These horses, like, she just kept going. And I'm having a hard time with her figuring out how she's going to get beat, because it just feels like she's running on some sort of different level right now. And if they can continue, I mean, I don't see how she's going to, like, she might, I think she's one of the, like, as of right now, she might be one of the better locks of the Breeders' Cup, because who's going to beat her in the distaff?
Ricky, you want to take that one?
Well, there's a horse named Monomoy Girl who apparently is training. And
Latruska beat her. Yep. Continue. Who else?
That's probably
Malthought, I guess. Do you think Malthought can beat her?
I don't, personally. I would say Malthought. I think Monomoy Girl at her best is still better. I don't know if we're going to see the best. I think at Malthout's best, she's still not good enough. That's just my opinion. Maybe that's not really looking at numbers and past performances and really breaking it down, but just off the top of my head, I think it's really those three in a group. And to be honest, Monomoy Girl's not coming back to ride in anything less than the Breeders' Cup distaff. If that wasn't what they were pointing for, then they probably wouldn't bring her back, to be quite honest. So she's done too much in her career. You're not bringing her back. I don't know if it would be interesting. I don't even know if we're going to see, maybe Aaron would know better than me. I don't know how many options she has before the Breeders' Cup distaff, how much they want to rush her. So it would be one heck of a storyline. I'm sure they would get one race in her, but what kind of storyline would that be if Monomoy Girl returns for the Breeders' Cup distaff? No races, no nothing. You want to talk about storylines? You want to talk about Breeders' Cup headlines and memories? That would be one for the memory books to see if she could do it, because that would be one of the best feats of all time.
No Breeders' Cup for Monomoy Girl.
She's not running in the Breeders' Cup.
No.
All right.
Supposedly, and I don't buy this, but they're telling everybody no Breeders' Cup Cigar Mile. I don't buy it. I don't think she's coming back. That's my prediction. But I would say she's not going to be in the Breeders' Cup. That much we know.
If you're not pointing the Breeders' Cup, I mean, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Okay, so that's right. That's my point. Well, what are we? You want to bring this horse back off? I don't know how many months. What? 8, 9, 10 for the Cigar Mile?
Here's the thing that's crazy about this story is Halter and I were on our way home from the Breeders' Cup, and we just seen an amazing, obviously, Breeders' Cup, amazing performance by her. She goes to Halter the next day. She went to sales.
Yeah.
And we're like, holy shit, they bought her. Not only they bought her, I don't remember what the price is off the top of my head, but they bought her, and they're going, they're going to run her. They're going to keep running her. Like, what? Like, what does she have to prove? This is crazy. Like, she's done. She has nothing left to prove. Well, she comes back in the Baycoa, wins. And she comes back to the Alba Blossom, like I said, looked like a winner. Latruska, I think she showed that she's the better horse, at least right now. And that was it. It's like, I just don't understand. It's like, just retire. What do you got? She's ran 17 times and she's won 14 of them. She's earned almost $5 million, and she's obviously was sold for a ton more, what she's worth. So it's like, what do you need to do? It's like, give me a break. Like, what is that? Like, just retire. If you're not going, I mean, if you want to do a swan song, if she's doing unbelievable, I'd say I'm with Ricky. Point her the distaff. If that's what you have, if you want to run her, if you're not running a distaff, she's not right. So what are you doing? Just retire. What does she need to do?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of running her at all. If she's, I mean, I don't know. Cigar Mile, Pegasus, okay. Like, you're going to bring her off a layoff and then you're going to run her against the boys 2 times in a row. Sorry. I think that's a tall tale that the people are telling the My Racehorse people. I don't think that's going to happen.
That's a very good point, by the way.
What are you going to, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
Even Millie's like retire, and she owns her. You know what I mean? So.
I about said something else, but I bit my tongue. As far as the distaff, you're probably gonna like maybe be surprised or even angry, but I kind of think she's gonna get beaten the distaff by somebody. I really do. She's been so good all year. It is so hard to hold that form all the way to November. From January to November, she's truly a super horse if she wins a distaff. I think she's going to get a little tired, a little spent, and if she faces a little pace pressure, I think somebody will run her down. The problem is, like said, and you're going to say, well, who? And I'm going to tell you, I have no earthly idea who, but somebody's going to do it, I think. I'm a little bit worried about her in the Breeders' Cup. I think that's where we could get an upset.
Yeah, I mean, she's ran 4 straight triple-digit buyers. I think I think it goes back to the fact that why we thought she's gonna like. So surely she like if there's a favorite that can get beat, it's her because she just feels like you're kind of waiting for because let's not forget like it wasn't like Latruska. You know, I think Ricky and I, you were talking. We were leaving the track on Friday, and we were talking. I don't know which race we were talking about with her, and she like finished like 5th. You know, like 2 years back. I think it was. Oh gosh, what was it? It was the what was it? It was the the Beldame Invitational where she finished 4th, beating 14. Latruska, we're talking. You know what I mean? She's getting. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was the Ballerina. It was the Ballerina last year where she finished 5th. And it's just like she was not like she may run a good race, and she finished 5th, and she'd finish 4th, and she'd win. And it's like she's definitely, and I asked Halterman, it's like, what do you think the difference is? Well, she's gotten better, but she's also going to the lead. And look what she's done. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe she can get beat, but it'd be hard for us to find. Ricky, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's at the end of the day, the reason that these big days are so chalky is because connections have their years pretty much planned out. And maybe not the whole year, but let's talk about segments, right? Magic just talked about Monomoy Girl, Cigar Mile, then the Pegasus. Well, the Pegasus is in January. So we're already talking, the next 4 months? Like they plan segments out. If they're not at that point, then they don't run. It's not like you have an allowance source. Oh, we could go non-graded. We can maybe go into an easy, soft allowance. Like you're grade 1 or you don't run. That's why we see so much chalk on these days. To Aaron's other point, like, okay, Latruska's going to lose, and what's your next best option? That's what you got to ask yourself. Maybe she will lose, but it's fine. You answered that question. Now who's going to do it? Yep. That's the bigger question. I'll just leave it at that. I don't like I was one of Swiss Skydiver's biggest fans after the Preakness. She's not good enough anymore. She's just not.
No, we got to stop with the Swiss stuff.
Yeah, Magic brings up Harvest Moon. One nearing return, loves Del Mar. One might get a start. I mean, if that's your best option, to be quite honest, I don't like Malathot. Malathot's probably your best option at the moment when we talk about it. And you can't be confident. If you're so gung-ho on beating Latruska, can't be confident in using Malathot as far as I'm concerned. So I don't
certainly know in terms of betting, that's going to be your 3 options. I mean, assuming I guess 2 options with Malathot and her. So this seems like a tough task. I think Malathot, like Halterman, you're going to have to convince me otherwise of how we don't play like $100 straight exacta Latruska over Malathot.
Oh, we're not doing that. I can promise because I don't like Mal thought that well.
No, we're doing it. We're doing it. All right, we got a lot more show to talk about. We're on an hour, so let's go to the Sword Dancer. The next race up, race 11. You and I went into this. Obviously, we kind of touched on this a little bit ago. I like Gafo. You like Trubivon. We're like, hey, you know what? This seems like the perfect. I love when this kind of seemed like this one was coming together because like Trubivon's going to be on the lead. Gafo's going to be coming up. Maybe these two just hit the wire together. Boom, exact the box. Well, hit the top of the stretch. You're like, okay, Gafo's firing. You can tell Gafo's firing. He's going to get up for top two. It just felt like he was. Trubivon couldn't get to the lead. It was frustrating. I know it was frustrating for you. Gafo was awesome. Gafo obviously rounded out with Japan getting up there for second. So we missed this one entirely. It was frustrating to get Gafo to run that good. Surprised by the price, to be honest with you. I couldn't believe Gafo went off as the favorite here. So we kind of missed this one altogether in terms of what we thought the value would be in terms of value, quote unquote value with Gafo. And really, obviously, it did make it feel a little bit better knowing that we didn't even have Gafo in our $30 pick three, even though we could have. It was a good effort. I don't know what you do with this race, from just a perspective of moving forward. But what do you think of it overall?
Good race, very good race. And moving forward, I think Gafo's got a big time shot at the Breeders' Cup. I'll just go on record and say that right now. That's one I'm interested in. I thought he was fantastic. The biggest problem, and you touched on it, is our projected odds. We thought Japan would be the favorite. Right. I mean, we thought everybody was picking Japan. Everybody was talking that horse up. And we thought, boy, I don't think Japan's quite as good as these other two American runners. And if we get the price, this is going to be a nice exacta. And then Gafo's the favorite, but really they all three ended up being right there together in the odds at about 5-2, 3-1 range. So it would have paid no matter what. Gafo ran great. Trubivon rounded the corner. I looked at you and I said, we're going to have this because he looked like, even though he didn't get the trip that he wanted, he was making a move, and then he just quit badly. Of course, Gafo able to hold on and beat Japan. Didn't have it, but don't feel real terrible about it because I feel like the bet itself was worth playing. It was paying decent enough. Just Trubivon didn't run. And, a lot of people are like, well, that pace really cooked him. Shit, he wasn't on the pace. He was like 3 lengths off the pace. He just didn't make a move. He made a move on the turn and then flattened out in the stretch. So maybe he does just absolutely have to have the lead to fire his best race. But yeah, he quit when Gafo went past him. That was it. So yeah, great race for Gafo. I think he's got massive, massive talent. And I think if they can just kind of get him right and keep him right, he's going to have a lot to say in this division and at the Breeders' Cup.
That's my problem because I just don't know if I can rely on him. Like I felt really strongly about him in this race because I felt like, he had kind of been knocking on the door, kind of got his confidence back in that ungraded stakes race. And then obviously one was impressive. You kind of felt like with Christophe, he's going to fire a big one here. I just don't know. Like, and I also don't know if he's like, Japan, we kind of said like this field wasn't amazing, so he's going to have to continue to step it up. I don't know if I can trust him as much as you do, especially if he's going to have to face domestic spending again.
Well, to this question, you're going to fall out of your chair here. I think Gafo has more talent than domestic spending, but the problem is they have the same closing kick, but domestic spending can sit 3 lengths closer to the lead. So I still don't think Gafo can beat him because I think they're going to close and be similar, but I think domestic spending is always going to get the jump. But you're talking about just a flat, who has the best turn of foot? I think Gafo does. I think it's close, but I think he does. With that tactical advantage, I'll take domestic spending every time.
Yeah, that's fair because Gafo is. If there's one thing you can count on, it's he's going to bring a run. It's just he gets so far back, and to the point, on Saturday he wasn't too far out of the race, ever. He was pretty close, and he still had that kick. And maybe, like you said, like Clement, Rosario, they figured that out, with this horse, and maybe just combination of the horse and maturing. But yeah, he's definitely one. Don't get me wrong. Like he makes it interesting for sure as far as how we're going to play that race. Like to make, he definitely is a horse like you can't leave off. I don't feel like so.
To this point, I agree. Okay, but if say it's a 12-horse field, domestic spinning draws inside, he gets in some traffic, he gets out late. He's not good enough to beat Gaffoe if he has some kind of trouble, right? So if they're close and Gaffoe's going to be probably triple the price, I think he's a sneaky use in the Breeders' Cup. That's all I'm saying. I do not think he's as good as domestic spinning, but I think if domestic spinning has some issues, Gaffoe can beat him.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The speed on the turf. I mean, we'll see. It definitely has some intrigue there.
My rebuttal to that is it's not going to be next week. It's in November. We'll see how it plays then. You just never know. I know historically it does play friendly to the speed, but you never know. Maybe Del Mar sees that and is like, well, we need to give these horses a fair chance. And they try to, change the track somehow to make it play a little more fair. We'll see.
Ricky, you've been quiet through this. What do you think? Are these horses that you like to use, or going to like to use, I should say, as we head into the Breeders' Cup?
I still try to use the Europeans. We'll start there.
Yeah.
I thought Japan actually ran a lot better than what he looked on the track, because Halterman and I looked at each other, were like, this horse looks like garbage.
Like a turd.
Yeah, he's just small. It's hard to look at a horse's talent just on their looks, but it wasn't overwhelming. We're going to find out a lot, I think, this weekend at Kentucky Downs on Sunday. It's like the big-ass fans dueling ground, whatever. We're going to see horses like Cellist. We're going to see Du Jour back in there. I think that will give us a better indication of what to make of the American group. I don't think Gaffoe is as good. Gaffoe, whatever, is as good as domestic spending. But again, Del Mar turf is a little different. To Magic's point, best firm turf. Euros won't care about a sweet. Yeah, the Euros are just better as a collective group. What I think the race that domestic spending comes out of, which was at Arlington Park, which was the Mr. D, Mrs. D, whatever the heck it was. And then this, it's like, well, maybe that American group is a little bit closer than we thought. But in terms of the Breeders' Cup, I'm kind of with Magic. Like, they don't stand a chance to the Euros as far as if you brought the best Euros over the top, it's not even close. I'm pretty sure they would run 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe domestic spending can crack the top 3, but I have no interest in Gaffoe unless he is double digits, to be quite honest. I just don't think I have much of an interest. Again, double digits maybe, but outside of that, not really.
We'll see. That's the thing about that's the equalizer, right? That in terms of the Breeders' Cup is you get prices. If you have an opinion, you usually Santa Barbara probably could beat these guys, our U.S. horses, right? She's a filly, so Santa Barbara is a beast. Anyways, all right, let's get to the main event. Of course, we go into this race. I don't remember, Halterman, we were close to – what were we going into the Travers?
We were up $80-some going into the Travers. I can't remember exactly.
Okay, so we go to the Travers up, but we have $100 to win on Essential Quality. And again, it was tricky because I don't think either one of us thought this horse would be pounded like he was. Just given the Travers, we thought, well, surely people are going to be taking shots. They're going to be trying to beat him. Yes, he's going to be a low price, but 4 to 5 probably. Yeah, that seems fair. This horse goes off, what was he, 2 to 5? Just got absolutely blasted. Never, you could tell he's locked in terms of how this horse is getting bet. But he won. So, maybe we didn't get a huge return there. We bet 100 to win. He wins. We know we're going to get cash. We make money on the day. He was unbelievable. First, let's talk about the overall wagering guide. So the $100 to win. How did we end up faring on the day?
Yeah, so we made $127, which equals out to a 34.3% ROI. So pretty solid. That brings our total ROI for the year up to 33.2%. So we've done very, very well. $783 profit if you played these all the way from the Breeders' Cup last year to the Travers now. So a lot to be proud of here. Like I say, 34.3% ROI was great. Here's the deal with this wager. It was pretty stupid at 2 to 5, but you can't what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? It's like we thought 4 to 5, likely 3 to 5 at worst. And at 3 to 5, I still don't think this was a bad wager. Obviously, you don't want to bet horses at 2 to 5 very often. Now, this worked out, and he definitely won, and it paid what it paid. You know, I think we got like $45 back for this. So it's, you can look at it as, well, that's an ATM, that's $45, but still, you wanted to be a little bit more than 2 to 5 here. As far as the performance, I mean, it was never in doubt. You might look at it and say, well, how can you say that? They were neck and neck in the stretch, and it was what was it, like a head or a half? How can you say it wasn't in doubt? Because I've seen him run too many times. It was never in doubt. He was going to win that race.
He wasn't. He sits, Midnight Bourbon goes. We talked about earlier with Latruska. They went so slow early in this race, which set up for an incredibly fast closing. And you kind of knew once, Midnight Bourbon, you can see the fractions. Obviously, they go 114. Like, good Lord, these are walking. And Essential Quality just rise. Like you say, like once he ranges up, it's over. You're not going to outkick this horse. If this horse hasn't, the right trip, or the fair trip, I should say, he's wide, I guess, in the Derby. That's the excuse we can use. He's not going to get outkicked. Once he gets there next to you, it's over. Like,
yep.
You kind of touched on it. How you get him beat is like you've got to be able to where he can't see you, right? Because if he sees you, it's over. Like if he's in range, he's so smart. And Brad Cox has made mention of this many times. Obviously, if you've watched enough racing, you see it, you know it. He's super, super smart. He knows how to win a race, and he continues to do it.
I'd get way the hell away from him if I'm trying to beat him. Get way away from him. If you're closing with him, you get out in the center of the track. You lose ground, well, whatever. Get away. Don't let him see you. If he sees you, he can beat you. Or if he sees you, he's going to beat you, I should say. If he doesn't, maybe not, because that's his one flaw, right? He doesn't kick away from a horse once he gets there. Now, the good news for him is he outkicks him to the wire, but he sticks with them. So if you could get away from him and close on the outside, now obviously you're going to have a hell of a horse to do this. But if you can do that, you might sneak up and beat him. That's the key.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously making his case, right? Him and Nick's Go, good to be Brad Cox, making their cases for Horse of the Year. Who are you putting on? Who's the front runner of Horse of the Year right now?
He's the front runner, but I think a Breeders' Cup win for Nick's Go, and he's a cinch. But right now, I would have to say Essential Quality's out in front. But I think, it's got to be one of those two, and the winner of the Classic's going to determine it.
Well, if they both train up to the Classic, which is very possible, especially considering Brad Cox trains them both, it is kind of nice to say, okay, winner take all. You know what I mean? Like, Here we go. If whoever wins, you get Horse of the Year. And there's really no argument there because obviously you beat the other one. There you go. And the fact that their styles are so they complement each other so perfectly in terms of one's going to go to the lead, one's going to sit off of the lead, and it's really going to be about who's better. And it's really going to. I mean, let's knock on wood that we get. We have a couple of months left that we get there. Let's hope that it does. But if that's the case, it's going to make for a unbelievable stretch run of the Classic.
Yep. No question. Back-to-back years, the Classic will decide Horse of the Year. I think that's very accurate.
And to my point, not to keep harping on it, but it is amazing to think if it all sets up like it should. We know Nick's Go is going to go. Essential Quality is going to give you a run because he always does. It's just really going to be about who's better, right? You're going to. I mean, it should step up, and unless Hot Rod Charlie says "fuck you both," and I'm going to win this thing. Ricky, what did you think of the race?
Yeah, I still think Nick's Go is a touch better than Essential Quality on their best day. Now, unless you want to make the case that Essential Quality has just mastered this 3-year-old group, 3-year-old crop, where no matter what, he just knows how much he wants to win by. I try to stay away from that theory. I think that's us as horse racing fans giving horses way too much credit, but it's possible. I mean, no one can confirm nor deny. The problem is Essential Quality is going to run you a 98 every time. Probably not a perfect race. Nick Sco can run you a perfect race, but he could also run you a B- race. And that we've seen that time and time again. He ran an A+. He ran I'm never going to give a horse 100 unless you're going to match Secretariat when he won by 31 lengths. But he ran a 99 in that Whitney, and no one was beating him. If he runs that again, Essential Quality is not beating it. And I don't think anyone here would disagree. But he can run a race where you're kind of like, what was that? So I don't like betting on horses where I have to hope the other horse doesn't run his best. That's just me. I don't like to play that theory. See, why did we have to do this?
What is it?
Like everyone's, yeah. I'm just surprised she's up past like 9 o'clock at night. Anyway, yeah, that's just me. I'm curious to know what you guys think, because at the end of the day, yeah, whatever. At the end of the day, it's like you guys, you know, we've all said like, and Nick Sco still in that back of your mind still has that really bad race, like available to him. Essential Quality hasn't run one, dating back to when he debuted. He just hasn't run a bad race. So it's going to be interesting. I would personally, if you want to throw headlines, and it's not going to happen, I would have loved to see Truska face the boys. That's just not going to happen, just to maybe throw a wrench into things. That would help out Essential Quality, but that's not going to happen. But just trying to make up headlines, storylines here.
Dr. Miranda's just jealous that you're not talking to her. So Essential Quality got a 107 for the win there, which is pretty much right in line with what he's, he got 100 for the Kentucky Derby loss, 109 the Belmont. He did get 98 in the Jim Dandy, of course, bumped it up to 107. So to your point, he's going to run you. Let's assume he's going to run like his big effort, his best effort. He's going to have him ready. He's going to run a 105 to 110, right? Like that's what he's going to run in the Classic. Like Nick Sco, I feel like has higher upside than that. I think he can. Now the question becomes mile and a quarter. How do we get to get that distance? Obviously pace comes into play a lot more with Nick Sco than Essential Quality, because he kind of just Essential Quality is very versatile. So I don't know. It adds a lot of intrigue. I do lean more towards Nick Sco has a little bit higher, barely ceiling. So I think it makes up for an unbelievable, like I say, conclusion to the year with these two lining up in the Classic. Let's hope they both get there. All right, that's going to put a wrap. This has been the longest recap of the Wagering Guide /day, but it was a huge amount of racing and a lot of horses that are going to, be factors in the end of the year. So Essential Quality wins the Travers, and he's on to the Classic. All right, let's fly through these, man. Jeez, okay. Louise. Jeez.
Usually it's me delaying it. I'm pretty sure I was quick for the most part.
I don't think anyone. It was just like there's just a lot to digest on every race, as far as what it means moving forward. So
when you bet short prices, the betting strategy gets much more complicated. That's what that was. I'm telling you, simple. It's a lot of times you handicap and then the betting is easy because you don't have to worry about the prices as much. But when you have all chalk, you have to get serious and you really have to get analytical about it.
I'll disagree.
Because the margin for errors are so slim in those situations.
Saratoga slim?
Yeah, exactly.
They get about that thin. They get about that slim. Yeah, Saratoga slim. That guy weighs like $120 when he's soaking wet.
This is true.
All right.
Which one are we talking about first?
We're doing the Yacht Club Gold Cup. All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Time for Rapid Fire, presented by, let's do RD Sports. What do you say? RD Sports, Racing Dudes Sports, the new sports site at racingdudes.com. Just click the other sports on the main menu to get access to all our information on the NCAA football and, of course, NFL coming here soon. Of course, these guys all over it. Halterman, you've been all over it with the podcast with your dad. Dudes Who Bet. Of course, that's, it's already starting to take off, and we love what, we're into this is the time of the year that we're really getting excited because we're NFL college football guys. But having the site now where we have information, we have picks. Of course, you guys, we're talking earlier. We're all watching, have football on. So might as well be talking about it on the website, right? So racingdudes.com, RD Sports. Make sure you go check it out if you want. If you say I'm taking a break for the Breeders' Cup because I love college football, I love NFL, whatever. Well, guess what? You don't ever have to leave the site. We have you covered. A lot more expanding into that as the year goes on. So stay tuned. All right. Well, yeah, 4 races we're going to cover here real quickly. As we have, it is what it is. It's field of 6, but we have Breeders' Cup implications, and that is at the Spa, of course, for race 12 on Saturday, the Jockey Club Gold Cup Grade 1 with $1 million for 3-year-olds and up, going 1.25 miles, field of 6 lined up, and it is a Breeders' Cup winning in for the Longines Classic. So we talked a lot about the Classic earlier in terms of who can face, Nick Sco and such a quality. Well, the winner here might. Forza d'Oro 8-5. You got Max Player at 5-2, who upset Happy Saver at 9-5 last out. Night Ops at 5-1. Really, it looks like it's between one of those 3: Forza, Max, Happy. Who you like?
I went Forza d'Oro on top. I think he's kind of the now horse. I was between him and Happy Saver. This race is really bad. There's no way around it. But this horse, Forza d'Oro, ran so well over this track last time out, an allowance win. Allowance that we talked about on the Rocket Hour, Ricky. And so he did a really nice job there to win. He's won 3 in a row. I just feel like if you can keep this horse healthy, he's got a little bit of a future here. Bill Mott certainly can develop a racehorse, especially an older horse like him. So I'm going Forza d'Oro, breaking from the rail. I think he gets the job done.
Ricky, what do you got?
Yeah, I was on Forza d'Oro too, but I think Happy Saver is a horse that we do have to give true consideration to. He just rolled off wins until he ran in the Suburban, and that was over a sloppy track. I don't think we're going to get any more weather. I know this is Sunday. It's supposed to rain a little bit maybe into Saturday and Sunday, but it shouldn't be too bad. If it's a faster, good, something close to fast, Happy Saver's got to be considered. I don't think there's just one race that we got to throw out there. He was a nice horse leading up to that, and he was 8-5 in the Suburban. So I definitely think those two are a step above. But overall, I'm with Halterman. This is pretty weak. I don't know if this was the move to Saratoga that's this way. I just think we see a lot of horses just over the summer, they run a race and just lead up to the Breeders' Cup. I don't think it has to do where this race is placed, but we're only 2 months away. So it's pretty weak, but pretty solid, field in terms of, like Jared, like you said, their implications on the line.
It is amazing that you can run a race last week called the Travers and not have a winner in your end, and then you have this race here sitting here and the winner gets in. It's hard to believe, but that's what that's what it is. I'm with Halterman. I like the 1 Forza. I think the post draw. I think this horse can be very forwardly placed. It's going to sit the perfect trip. This horse has won 3 in a row. Granted, lower company, but he finally gets his shot at a Grade 1, and he deserves it. This horse has been awesome the last 3, and really, you can look at how this horse came back off that long layoff in the Discovery, came back to run at Saratoga. It was sloppy that day, of course, and we're just dominated. Ran a 101 buyer, matched a career high buyer that the horse ran the last race. And to come like that with a Bill Mott off the layoff, this horse is going to be ready to fire even bigger, in my opinion. I think he's going to be awful tough to beat. And my bottom line is I just don't trust. I don't trust Happy Saver enough to pick here. So Forza, I feel like you're going to get the effort. Was he good enough? We'll find out. But I'm with Halterman here. I like number 1, Forza d'Oro. Yeah, Magic, it's messing with my head because I keep thinking Flower Bowl, because to me, Flower Bowl and fall always go hand in hand. Like Flower Bowl, I'm like, oh, yeah, like this is the last race before the Breeders' Cup. You're like, wait a second. It's just now September. Like it is. It's messing with me. I really don't know why they switched it. Do you know why, Halterman?
The thought was the Jockey Club was too close to the Breeders' Cup and that they weren't getting like great horses in it. So they thought they would flip it to here and they might get a little bit better field. And they didn't, obviously. So the experiment didn't really work, but that was the thought process. The Flower Bowl Magic, I don't know the answer to that one. I guess it's the same, but I don't really know why that would be.
Yeah, they were talking about it on Fox Sports that it seems the trend is to run in one big race over the summer, and then that's it. And then you train up to the Breeders' Cup. Mind you, before the Breeders' Cup, the Jockey Club Gold Cup was the champion race for older horses. That's what it was. But unfortunately, it got caught up in the mix once they introduced the Breeders' Cup, more money on the line, more status, more stature. And it was just too close. So they tried to bring it 2 months in advance. So you have 8 weeks. I don't think it's a failed experiment. I think it's too soon to tell. Maybe this year it is, but who knows? Maybe horses do point to this down the road. It's also hard when the Whitney is only 2 or 3 weeks separated as well.
Yeah.
Maybe you have the Whitney earlier in the year, or maybe you have this earlier in the year. Then you have it, because what if you went opening weekend, Whitney, 4 weeks apart, 5 weeks apart? Then you got yourself a older horse schedule. I don't know what the right answer is. I just think it's too early to say this was failed when it's only the first year. That's just my opinion.
All right, let's go to the Flower Bowl. 3, 2, 1. One race prior race 11, the Flower Bowl Stakes, Grade 1. That's right. You heard that right. The Flower Bowl, it is now happening in early September. We were just talking off air that it's always a race that we feel like it's equivalent with fall, and we're before fall now. So get used to the Flower Bowl Stakes at Saratoga, 600K, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 1 3/8 miles on the turf field of 7. Lines up for this one. And unlike the other one, this one feels like you have a very strong favorite. Number 3, Warlike Goddess at 4-5, winner of 3 in a row. Really has done almost nothing wrong her entire career. 5 wins and 6 starts. A distance specialist. Likes Saratoga, likes this distance. She likes the longer they go, the better. Winner of this race gets in the Longines turf. Halterman, what do you think of her showing up here, and what do you think of her chances?
Well, I mean, if she runs the race she did last time out in the Glens Falls, it's over, right? I mean, there's just no way that anybody's going to beat this horse. She's just simply better than everybody else in the race. My sister Nat, who was second in that race, is back here. Well, she beat that horse by 3 1/4. It was not even competitive. So Warlike Goddess to me seems like a single in the situation. The only horse that is kind of the new shooter, so to speak, is American Bridge coming over from Europe. But I kind of look back at this horse's past performances. It's not great. This is not like a really strong European runner, I don't think. So Warlike Goddess should win this, and it really shouldn't be much of a challenge.
Yeah, and I misspoke. It's I said it wrong anyways. It's not the turf, it's the filly mare turf. So of course, because they're all fillies and mares. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Warlike Goddess to me. And I'm if she loses, I'm the jinx, because I've tried to beat her multiple times. I've used her and then I've tried to beat her. I don't remember if it was. I don't think the loss was when I picked her, so I should be safe. But if she does lose, it's because of me. I think she's just too much of a standout. I don't see. I tried to beat her with my sister Nat last time, and she just disposed of her like she was nothing, because she is compared to Warlike Goddess. Like my sister Nat runs second, sure. The only horse I was interested in was a 6, just because from a standpoint of a new shooter, so to speak. But I just don't think you can match up with Warlike Goddess. So I'm with you. I think she's a single here. What do you think, Ricky?
I think there's another horse to consider. I truly think La Signore is interesting. Going through these time form numbers again, Warlike Goddess got a 123 in the Glens Falls, a 122 in the Bewitch. La Signore got a 119 in the Diana to Altica and Summer Romance, and then got a 120 in the Gamely at Santa Anita against Maxim Rate. If she can repeat a 119, 120, she should be on the lead. There's really no true speed in here, but I think she'll be the one on top. I think she has the chance to go gate to wire. I'm not sure if she's good enough, but I think she has to be considered. I don't think she's good enough. I mean, I don't think Warlike Goddess is good enough to just eliminate everyone else. That's probably the only one I give a shot to. I know Chad Brown was talking about 6 as well a little bit on the show today, Fox Sports show. But I do think, to Magic's point, La Signore could wire. A Warlike Goddess is better. She's more talented, but she's going to have to close. And we saw them kind of walk the dog the other day with coinage. Aaron and I were talking about it this morning. Warlike Goddess better be a legitimate 8 to 10 lengths better if she's going to win. Maybe she is. Maybe she's not. I don't know. You're shaking your head. How?
Oh, she doesn't have to be
8 to 10 lengths better? Are you high? Give me a break.
No. When they open up, I mean, she's going to be 8 to 10 lengths off of it. That's what I meant. I don't think she's going to win by 8 or 10 lengths.
I thought you meant she's going to have to be 8 to 10 lengths better than La Signaire to beat her, because that's how much of an advantage that horse is going to have.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It's what it came across.
I think she's winning by 6 lengths when they're in the backstretch. I do. I truly believe that. So maybe not 8 to 10. I'll say 6 to 8.
To be fair of this horse, though, I mean, I understand, but like, even she's won off soft paces, she's won off hot paces. Like, I think more like God. I don't necessarily think that the like a lone speed type situation is going to get her beat. I think she's better than the rest. Now, I do agree, if you're going to use one, Longines makes sense. Like, she's got the class, she can at least give you some sort of effort. I just don't think she's good enough to hold off a horse like Warlike Goddess. I think she just sits closer. If it's slow, she'll sit closer. I just think she's a smart horse, and obviously, Late Peru, who's ridden this horse pretty much her entire career, knows what he's doing. So I'm on Warlike Goddess. You are going to take a shot with the one, Ricky, and Halterman. You like Warlike Goddess as well.
La Signaire was close in the Diana.
I mean,
I get it. I get using her.
Well, yeah. I mean, realistically, I think Summer Romance and Altica are better than this field. She only lost by 2.5.
Good measuring stick, right? This would be a good measuring stick for Warlike Goddess.
Well, yeah, and we also haven't seen Warlike Goddess at a grade 1. Now, maybe this isn't a grade 1. That you can make that argument just because it is on paper. That doesn't mean that it actually is. And we talk about it all the time. But I think if you're getting 4 to 5 and I'm getting 5 to 1, like the morning line odds suggest, she 5 times or a little bit more than that, 5 times is likely to win the race. I don't think she is. That's what you got to. Maybe she won't be 5 to 1. But she won't. All
right, let's go to Del Mar. Okay. Let's move this along. I'm fading. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Next up, let's go to Del Mar, race 9, the John C. Mabee Stakes, grade 2, or 200K for fillies and mares, serials, and up going 1 and 1/8 miles on the turf. Field of 9 lines up for this one. These races over here might be a little bit more competitive. We'll see what you guys' thoughts are, because I seem to chalk out a little bit. 7 to 2 on Maxim Rate, 3 to 1 on Dogtad, 6 to 1 on Bodacita, 6 to 1 on Tapwater, going to Vegas at 4 to 1. I mean, you got options all over the place. Where are you going, Halterman?
Kind of the heartbreak kid here, the 5-year-old mare now, Dog Tag. Good Lord. 3 races in a row. This horse gets second. It seems like she just kind of makes up ways to lose. She just, again, to me, looks like the better horse of the race. I'm going Dog Tag one more time. Hopefully we get every bit of that 3 to 1. I don't want a real short price here, but I think she gets it done here. Last time out, it was not a great trip at all and still came running and came within a length and a quarter. I like Dog Tag a lot here. I shouldn't say I like Dog Tag a lot. It's hard to with this string of seconds, but I think she fits really well. I think she's the best horse on this one.
Ricky, what'd you think?
Yeah, I also went with Dog Tag, but I think you'd be naive not to consider a lot here, to be honest. And for a morning line favorite, she's got to be one of the more vulnerable ones on the card. There are no real time form numbers that stick out. She hasn't won in a long time, but I'm kind of with Aaron. I think Dog Tag at everyone's best, she's the horse to beat. But again, you really got to go through pretty much the whole field. Maybe a few you could throw out, but I will put Dog Tag on top. But I think very vulnerable.
Yeah, this one I end up going with number 1, Maxim Rate. I think she's dangerous a little bit because she last time out she runs off the layoff, a little bit of a layoff. And then talking about Dog Tag, Maxim Rate finished right behind her. Going a little longer here. Obviously, I think Maxim Rate need to let freshen up because it was a little further back than normal. She gets longer. She'll be closer. She draws the one, so she's going to get a better situation in terms of forwardly place. I think she might be firing on a big one here. So mile and 1/8 for her. She can win. She runs well. She likes Del Mar turf as well. So to me, I think it's not like a price 7-2, but to your point, I mean, you can make a case for a bunch of these. This is not a league you want to get knocked out of. So maximum rate for me, but again, I have no problem with using dog tag or several of these in here because I went through a bunch of them, but I think number one maximum rate for me. This next race, I'm definitely interested to see what you guys thought of this one because this one to me is a very interesting race.
Yeah.
I think it's all right. 3, 2, 1. And finally, let's go to race 11, the Del Mar Derby. It's a grade 2. We're $250K for 3-year-olds going 1 1/8 miles on the turf. Field of a large field of 14 fills up for this one, lines up for this one. And like I talked to you right before we started this, it's like, dude, I need your take on this. Hudson Ridge is 9-2, 5-1 on Sword Zorro. Flashiest 6-1, 8-1 on Crew Dragon. I mean, it's all over the place in terms of who you like. And I kept going back, and I'm sure as you guys did, as you handicapped this, you got to go back to the La Jolla, that race back in, I guess it's early in August, because a lot of these horses are coming out of it. Hudson Ridge, Zafrelli, Sword Zorro, and you kind of had that disqualification and who floated who out, and all these horses are coming back. And so you kind of go through that and say, okay, who was the best horse of that? What happened there? How did that affect the result? And you kind of try to go backwards on how to handicap that. Then you also look, okay, the jockeys just completely did a musical chairs here. Pratt's now on Hudson Ridge for Bob Baffert. That says something too. So what did you guys think of this race?
This is a weird one for sure. I'm going to go deep here as well. And I'm sure Ricky's probably going to echo that sentiment. I thought Zoffarelli makes the most sense here. That's who I'm going to put on top. DQ winner last time out. Only got beat a nose as far as who crossed the wire first in the La Jolla. The other thing, second time out in this country, I think that's a big thing. Last time out, that was the first race for this horse in the United States. So second time out in this country and added distance, I think is going to help this horse as well. So I'm going to go with the number 9, Zoffarelli on top. I think he runs an improved race today than the last time out, or better than the last time out, I should say.
What do you think, Ricky?
Yeah, I'm going to go all the way to the outside, barely on the page. And that's the 14 flashiest. To Aaron, I will agree with Aaron, though. I try to use as many as you can as your budget will allow you. I know he didn't run well at Saratoga and the Saratoga Derby. But if you look at his races here, at Del Mar, Santa Anita kind of has done everything right. And that Saratoga Derby field was loaded, absolutely loaded. You have Europeans, you had Du Jour, who's running, you had Cellist, I believe, who's also running at Kentucky Downs. I'm pretty sure everyone in that field, or almost everyone, would beat this group, in my humble opinion. Now, this isn't a bad field. It's just not one of the best stakes races at Saratoga. So with that being said, I'm concerned about the post position. But on talent, I'm going to try to overlook that. I think this horse really does make some sense. And hopefully, because of his running style, he can find a decent spot to sit in. I'll take a shot. But again, like Halterman, I'll echo it. You got to go as deep as your budget will allow.
Yeah, to me, that's too hard to go that wide, I feel like, because I just think they're all so evenly matched here. That's like the factor that I think if that horse drew better, I may have gone. Halterman, I was between Zafrelli and the horse that I ended up going with, which I'm surprised no one picked. Number 1, Hudson Ridge. I thought the Pratt jumping aboard was my final kind of, okay, I'm going there. And you watch back at the La Jolla, this horse, man, son of American Pharaoh, he's a big horse. And he looked like he was going to eat Zafrelli. When Zafrelli came next side by side, he was right. I mean, this is one intimidating horse. Horse gets a better trip. You can almost say, okay, I think if you get Pratt on board, you might get the trip you want, right? So you got the drip. He gets the one hole there, so he gets a better draw in terms of being forwardly placed. I think he's going to run a big effort. The factor that Bob Baffert on the turf, like I'm not a big Bob Baffert on the turf kind of fan. He talked about DeJour. I guess he did it earlier in the year. But it's Pratt, it's Baffert. This horse I thought he looked the best of that race, the last back. He gets a jockey upgrade. To me, this horse is going to be awful tough, likes the distance. So I'm a number 1 Hudson Ridge. Yeah, that's the thing too. You look at this race and you got 14 horses, 14 trip scenarios. Like it's going to be a clusterfuck, and
Yep.
You just don't know how it's going to kind of like. There's going to be excuses, legit excuses. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. And 14 3-year-olds as well on the turf. It'll be a disaster. There usually are terrible trips on that Del Mar turf, no matter what. So, oh my God. The Central Florida quarterback just threw one of the worst passes I've ever seen in my life. Did you see that, Ricky?
You think I'm paying attention to Remington Park? No, I'm watching college football.
That was one of the worst college football passes I've ever seen.
He was wide open too. You'll see I don't know if I'm ahead of you or not, but he was open in the back.
Oh, I know. I'm watching the play. There's a touchdown. They're up 7-0, and he threw. I've never seen one worse than that. Maybe at any level.
Well,
that looked like a Mighty Mike pass.
You've seen worse. If you've ever turned a Syracuse football game on,
I cannot believe that pass.
You've seen worse.
Shit.
Every Syracuse quarterback throws one of those a game. So.
All right. 3, 2, 1. That's all done. We have to check us out at racedudes.com for our free picks and our premium selections on our handicap products page. Click the Get Racing Dudes premium button at racingdudes.com to learn more. Of course, big weekend coming up. All the information you need right there. Just be a subscriber and you get all the information for free. Racingdudes.com is the destination site for free horse racing picks and information. And of course, we also have Racing Dudes Sports. So we're just talking about the football, what's going on with these games going on right now. Of course, when NFL gets going, we'll be talking a ton about it. So stay tuned and go to check out racingdudes.com/sports to get more information on that. We're on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram and Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, even the website racingdudes.com. Go check out the Matt and Mike show. They did the late pick 4 at Saratoga on Saturday. So you want more information on how they're playing the Jockey Club and, of course, the Flower Bowl, how they're playing those races, of course, in that sequence. Go check out the Magic Mike show as well. Before we get off air, though, I had to make mention of this because, like I said, I didn't use it as the opening because of, Love One, I guess. But hang on. I got to show you this. So the Travers weekend was amazing, but what really made the Travers weekend better than ever was this guy. Was Borat Capper. Borat Capper, we saw him live in person. Of course, there's me in the background dying laughing. This is when he emerged, which was like race, I don't know, 4 or 5. My favorite is this guy here in the back over here. Like just like that's a picture that someone took. Oh, it was classic. All day long, this idiot was walking around Saratoga, just an absolute nutcase. I mean, look at this guy. He's got pictures with Steve Asmussen after Jackie's Warrior just had won. He's taking pictures with him. Here's Eric Callett, the photographer over there. I mean, look at this idiot. He's got Dallas Stewart. That was before he got fully get up. He took 2 pictures, I think, with Dallas. Jonathan Thomas. Of course, Travers winning trainer, Jonathan Thomas. I mean, this dude is all – he was yelling at jockeys. I mean, Rosario, Luis Saez, they were laughing. He was yelling at the fucking, mayor of New York. I mean, it was unbelievable.
I've never seen anything like it, and I don't think we ever will, right, Ricky?
I was going to say, I know one human being who could have pulled it off with that kind of energy, and it's him. If you were like, oh, this is what we're going to do, they're going to have to do all these things, pick anyone, there's literally not one human being that I would pick other than him. It's not even a punishment. What he made it like full-on entertainment. If you guys are actually want to pee yourself, go. There's a live ABR, so America's Best Racing stream. Go to their Twitter, I believe, or Dan Torgman, Anonymous Dan. You see Saratoga Slim or Borat Cap or whatever. He's in the upper right corner about a minute in, and he's dancing behind the hosts of the show. I don't know if that's considered potential sexual assault or not. It was one of the funniest. That right here. So here's the picture. If you guys are looking, this is the picture of what it looks like, but you can see in front of you that there's someone sitting there. There's a live stream to this show. It's not just a picture. Like, there is a stream. I don't know. Maybe Jared could pull it up. It's on America's Best Racing. You have to go back to Saturday sometime and find it, but it is completely worth it. It's right at the opening. It's within the first 10 seconds. Up. Here we go. Yeah. Well, how about this? Can we go to a better subject as we wrap up? The Sunday afternoon was one of the best afternoons that I've had. I talked about it on the Rocket Hour, but I got to spend some time with Little Slim or Oliver.
Whoa. Hang on, buddy. What? Little Slim? It's Little Slim? His Shram?
No, only you would take it that way. I said Oliver Spector right after. You gotta get your head out of the gutter.
Look at that cute little girl. That's Cullen's future wife right there. There you go.
Yeah, there's no pressure on Cohen now, or no pressure on Ella either. With that line.
What about the Ricky and the kid Oliver picture?
Yeah, I don't think they have.
I'll go to Ricky's profile. Hopefully, he hasn't retweeted some porn stars or anything on here.
No, I don't. Oh yeah. It's from like Sunday.
He's got it on here somewhere.
Oh,
look at this.
There he is. Look at that.
Look at this. I mean, shit. If you aren't on dating profiles, you need to add that. You would just have them just eating out of the palm of your hand, dude.
Yeah, it's not a bad picture. There's another one that I didn't upload that I kind of like a little bit better, but yeah, that's Oliver Spector. Probably the newest handicapper. Yeah, that's a good picture. The newest handicapper of the bunch.
There you go.
It was fun to hang out on Sunday and not really talk about horse racing too much, which was cool as well. So an overall good Sunday to wrap up what was the degenerate type of weekend.
It was great. We spent Friday night with Slim and his wife and his wife's friend, and it was just so chill, relaxed, nice, such a good time. Of course, Saturday he puts on the performance of a lifetime, something I'll never forget. And then to have more time with Slim on Sunday. We hadn't really spent a lot of time with Slim away from the track like that, and that was really, really good. One of the highlights of the whole meet at Saratoga definitely was that Sunday and that Friday night. I totally agree, Ricky.
Well, that and our livers. My liver definitely needed it. I needed a break from.
Listen, the French toast that Kate made really soaked up a lot of that alcohol. It was great. That was much needed.
Hey, Magic wants to know if Slim ever hooked me up with that girl. That's another story, Magic. We can touch on that off air. The short answer is no.
Yes
is the short answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The question is, did Slim ever hook Jared
up? Oh, well, then I guess the answer would be
definitely did.
Yeah. He did his part. Yes.
Yeah, well, he was the coach. He game planned it. You were the player. You didn't execute. That's
Oh, please.
No, well, the question was, did he ever hook you up? Basically, did the coach draw up a game plan? The answer is yes. I mean, I don't really know why we hesitated on that answer, to be quite honest.
I don't want to. Like I say, we can talk off air, Magic. Okay, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to get. She's a nice girl. All right. So let's put a wrap to it. All right, that's a wrap. Again, go check out the website racenews.com. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. He's also Ricky Pasternak. Good luck this weekend, guys.